Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Luffy was grandson of XEBEC and wield his HAKI and sword? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content, and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the Ratastorm for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story. Link in the description. Water 7, Capital of Water, Luffy's POV. After getting out of a fight from the Admiral, they continue, as the Mary was on her last legs. This was going to get ugly really fast. He was feeling something was bound to happen in the city, whatever it was happening. He was feeling that certain people might be piss him off. Alright, first things first, Luffy said, we need to call Makita. I will need to get herself a ship for my fleet, and how can we make better ships? Turns out Makita actually recruited a lot of people who wanted to join. He already has 5 commanders of his fleet. Makita, Marianne, and Galdino must have heard that he took down Crocodile in Alabasta. What he needs to focus is attempting to get a new ship for the crew and have more commanders. They were trying to find an entrance of where to place their ship. Is that? One civilian asked. It's Straw Hat Luffy. Another civilian said. We need to be careful. I heard that he has the power level of an emperor. Another civilian said. Hey, Nami and Usopp, go up ahead. I'll catch up with you guys later, Luffy said. Nami and Usopp went to go change into the money chopper. You and Robin can head over the bookstore if you want. Okay, Chopper said as he was dancing, but before Robin could leave with Chopper, Luffy gave her a warning. Hey, though you should know that some people might be here to take you away. If they do, we will save you, Luffy said. But Robin smiled at him. I know you will, Robin said. Don't get killed. I won't, Luffy said. Not until I bring down the world government, and I found the One Piece. And Robin jumped off the ship and catch up with Chopper. After Nami and Usopp jumped off. Kaya, can we talk? Luffy asked Kaya. Sanji already jumped ship to buy some food for the ship. It was only Luffy, Zoro, Spectral, Vivi and Kaya remained on the ship. What is it? Kaya asked her captain. You know this ship is on her last leg, right? Luffy said. Kaya felt sad to see the Mary is on her last leg. I know it needed to last till Water 7, Kaya said in a sad expression, but the Mary has taken good care of us that I all care. We will not stop our journey here. Luffy smiled at her response. Spectral and Zoro were grinning, but Zoro then remembered something. Hey Captain, you said that someone might be here to provoke us? Zoro asks. I feel some world government agents might be here, Luffy said. CP9 will provoke any time. We must prepare for battle soon. Do they really don't care who the mess with? Vivi asked. Sadly, they don't, Luffy said. Beside I'm almost a Yonko, so they will declare war on us after they went their separate ways. Luffy was going to head over where Nami and Usopp were. Luffy saw his commanders talking on the docks. Luffy called out to his commanders. Captain? Makita said. It's been a while, has it? Hey there, boss. Good to see you again, Dory said. Is there anything we could do, sir? Galdino asks. We might get into a fight soon, Luffy said, causing his commanders to nod, but my ship is on her last leg. I came to here to purchase a new ship and get you guys some ships for my fleet. We will do anything for you, Captain Broggy said. We will protect you with our lives. That's good to hear, Luffy said with smiling nice. I need to get going. I need to with 2 of my crew members. As he was walking away trying to find his crew members. Check the bank first, but they already changed the money already. A few minutes later, Luffy finds Nami but not Usopp. He ran towards the shipyard to find Nami talking with the other shipwrights. He called out to his navigator and all of the shipwrights turned to Luffy, and some of them Luffy horrified, but then Luffy recognized someone. Iceberg. It's been a while, Iceberg. Luffy said, calling out to Iceberg. Still causing havoc in the world, aren't you? Iceberg said. Luffy just smiled, but then turns to Nami. Any word on the ship? Luffy asks, but Nami just sighed. And where did Usopp run off? They said that the Mary was on her last leg, Nami said, and Usopp got mad about it, and almost caused a scene here. But I told him to take a walk. But Luffy, is it true that the Mary is on her last leg? With that question, Luffy just shook his head. Nami started to cry and Luffy hugged her, telling to calm down. The Mary has taken care of us, Luffy said. She may be on her last leg, but we will still remember her. Nami just nodded her head. Also, our commanders are here in case you want to see them. Nami actually built a relationship between Makita and Marianne before they departed from Little Garden, but they were soon to be interrupted. Luffy! Nami! Vivi yelled out while running. Usopp was attacked by the Franky family. What? Luffy said furiously as she was still running. That's absurd. Not only that, But they also took the money, Vivi said, which Nami be furious. She wanted to electrocute them for stealing the crew's money. But is Usopp alright? Luffy asked. He was beaten up pretty badly. I told Chopper and Kaya's about Usopp conditioned. Usopp is over by the Franky family's house, Vivi said. In that case, Nami and Vivi, go back to the ship. We will meet back there, Luffy said. I'll call the others to meet me by the Franky house. Nami and Vivi started running towards back to the ship. Luffy's turns to Iceberg, and the shipwrights give me a book of ships that I should look. Iceberg nodded and tossed him the book, and then left the shipyard and said his goodbye to Iceberg. All of the shipwrights who were terrified started going back to work after Luffy had left the yard. Vivi also told Luffy that CP9 took away Robin before knocking out Chopper after their way to the bookstore. Few minutes later, Luffy meets up with Zoro, Sanji and Usopp as they were surrounding Usopp's beaten-up body. Luffy felt sympathy for Usopp since he was unconscious. Is he still breathing, Chopper? Luffy asked. Chopper checked to see if he's still breathing, and he shook his head. Well then, time for the get-backs, Luffy said as activates his armament HAKI coated on his fist. Zoro was inspecting his swords and putting on his bandana. Sanji was lighting a cigarette. Chopper turned into his heavy point and made their way to the Franky family house where the Franky family were partying. One of the Franky members was about to leave. Once he opened the door, was instantly punched in the face and knocked down onto the floor. Every member saw this and was terrified. Once they saw the Straw Hats' faces, they were instantly horrified. One of them trying to stay tough by putting on some armor which didn't stop Luffy from punching him in the stomach with second gear and making crash into the wall. The Frank family saw this and tried to cannon balls at them. But the cannonballs were soon to be cut by Zoro's swords and Zoro slashes the cannons. Soon enough the Franky family were trying to escape but stopped by Sanji and Chopper. Hey, why don't we calm down a bit, Sanji said. It's seeming like you are not a weak pirate crew as we thought, but settle down. You guys want to know where the money is that the long nose has? Luffy's eyes started to twitch and then pulls down his straw hat. Well, our family boss, Franky, took that money and went to buy something from black market. So we don't know where to find him. So, why don't you? He was cut off due to Luffy punching him in the face, making him crash into the wall. This situation has nothing to do with the money, Sanji said. Damn straight. This situation is personal business. We won't take long to break your guys' bones and destroying this house, Luffy said in a cold tone. Franky family were terrified. Our bones? Franky family member said. Don't act like a bunch of cowards. We're the Franky family. We do the bone breaking here, another Franky member said. Don't forget who you are. Fire the anything shot cannon. Franky member yelled out and shot the cannons, only for those four to dodge and run towards them. Mess them up. Don't let them get to you. Luffy punches some Franky members. Sanji was kicking some, Zoro was cutting them, and Chopper was destroying the cannons, and after a big fight went on, the house started to get destroyed, which caused everyone to hear the destruction in the city. Franky, Kiwi, and Mozu heard that destruction and thought they were partying again. Some of the civilians saw Franky, the family boss, wearing a mask and a cloak. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji's POV. Should we search for Franky? Sanji asks. But where do we look? He is probably long gone after we finish this, Zoro said. Currently Zoro and Sanji are standing in front of the destroyed Franky house. He is likely going return here the next day. Looks like these morons didn't have some money laying around here, Sanji said. Anyways, we should return back to ship. But we can't stay there for long as the Mary is on her last leg. Yeah, Luffy called out, this is going to be hard. But we are going to have to say our goodbyes here, to the Mary. Zoro and Sanji nodded. They were soon to be interrupted. Hey, help me carry Usopp back to the ship, you guys. Chopper called out, and then Zoro and Sanji got off the ground and went to carry Usopp back to the ship before Luffy was staring in the air. Hopefully you're doing okay, Robin. The chances of this could get really ugly, but like I told you, I will come save you. We are not just crew members, we are family. Luffy thought, and then he stood up and helped the others to carry Usopp back to the ship and met the others who were waiting back at the ship. Few hours later, the rest of the crew were chilling on the deck waiting the news about Usopp's recovery after an incident caused by the Franky family. Luffy was looking up in the air thinking about Robin again. Meanwhile, some of them were playing a board game to kill time. Suddenly they hear a door opening. Hey guys, Usopp is awake now, Chopper said, catching everyone's attention. They later went to hang out room of where Usopp was. They see Usopp all bandaged up. Usopp, Were you fighting the Franky family earlier? Spectral asks. Yeah, I was. Sorry about that, I haven't mastered my observation HAKI again, Usopp said, apologizing to his crew. It's water under the bridge, bro. It's in the past, Zoro said. You're not alone to fight, you know. You could have asked us for help, Sanji said. Also, please tell me this. Are able to fix the Mary? Usopp asked the final question, which made some of the crew gulp because they don't know how to answer this. But Luffy seems like to answer for them. Please don't tell me that those shipwrights weren't lying. Luffy then took a few minutes to answer to break the silence of the ship. Unfortunately, the shipwrights weren't lying, Usopp. Luffy said the Mary is on her last leg. The Mary needed to last until Water 7. But that was not the only reason. We came here to get new ships for our fleet. I've already talked to Iceberg and the shipwrights about our fleet. They told us this ship was never meant for the Grand Line, which caused Usopp to feel worried in his eyes. What are you talking about, Captain? We don't need those shipwrights trying to tell us what to do, Usopp said while sounding very angry at her captain. Usopp, they know better than us. They have better experience of being shipwrights than any other pirates like us, Luffy said. The Mary has taken good care of us. It's about time we say our goodbyes to her. With that, Usopp started to sound very pissed off at his captain. Don't be stupid. The Mary is strong and I know it, Usopp said while gripping Luffy's arm. We have gone into so many people with her, and I won't abandon her when she's hurt. Come on, Usopp, Kaya said. Me and Luffy talked about this earlier. We insisted on getting a new ship to continue our journey to the end. Not only Usopp was starting to get angry at Luffy, but he also started to get angry at Kaya. What are you talking about, Kaya? Usopp said angrily. Do you expect me to get over this? I won't abandon her. We will just fix her like we always do. Luffy let go of Usopp's grip and started to get angry at him. Usopp, no matter how many repairs we have done during our journey, no matter how many times we tried to fix her, she on her last leg, we have said our goodbyes, Luffy said in a serious tone. We are pirates. This is part of being a pirate, sailing across the world. With that, Usopp punches Luffy in the faces, making him crash into a table. Usopp, what do you think you are doing? The captain is being reasonable here, Spectral said while looking angry as the sniper punched his captain in the face. Let's just calm down and think this through, Nami said as she was holding on to his shoulder. But Usopp just shrugged her hand off his shoulders. If you are throwing away the Mary, Usopp said, then you might as well throw me away, which causes everyone's eyes to widen. What do you mean by throwing away the Mary? Luffy said, and what do you mean throw you away? This better not be some kind of joke. In other words, if you are leaving the Mary here, Usopp said, then I might as well leave the crew. Usopp, are you seriously taking your anger out on your crew members? Spectral asks while being slightly irritated. What crew members? As of right now, I'm departing from the Straw Hat Pirates, Usopp said as he walking out of the door, leaving some of the crew shocked. Usopp, don't be stupid. You can't be angry just because the Mary is on her last leg, Vivi said as he walking out of the door, and then soon enough, Usopp jumped ship. Luffy gritted his teeth. Damn it! Luffy said angrily as he was punching the table and breaking it in half, which caught his crew's attention. Captain? Spectral asks. His father asked me to make him join my crew, Luffy said. I promised him that nothing bad is going to happen between us, he said afterwards, again punching the table. Meanwhile, his crew members were in disbelief. He made the captain break his promise, Nami thought. That idiot! What's going to happen now? Zoro thought. Usopp chose the life of being a pirate, and this what happens. Spectral said. Our captain may be high maintenance sometimes, but he changed our lives and made us live freely, Sanji thought. I dedicated and owe my life to Luffy, and this is what he gets? Vivi thought. Usopp, our captain has done so much for us, and this how you repay him? Chopper thought. Can't believe Usopp made Luffy a fool of himself, Kaya thought. What are we going to do? Luffy said Robin is still missing, and Usopp just departed just like that. As he was turning to his crew members, Robin knows that we are not abandoning her. We will get her back because we are family, not just crew members. Yeah, she is family to us, Spectral said. We will fight for her and fight for any one of us even if it kills us. He's right. We not just crew members, Zoro said. We will protect each other with our lives, especially the captain. Some of us might need protection, Sanji said, but I agree with you on that. Even if it means going to war, I'm living to put my life on the line, Nami said. That's right. We may be the craziest pirate crews in all across paradise, but that doesn't stop us, Vivi and Kaya said in unison. We will be family to the end, Chopper said, and everyone smiled. Few hours later, Luffy was chilling in the men's quarter nearly about fall asleep when suddenly he hears a knock on the door. "Come in," Luffy said, causing the person to enter in. Which was Nami, and then walked over to Luffy in a slight worry on her face. "Hey Luffy, can I ask you a question?" Nami wanted to ask her captain a question, and he nodded. "What it's like to be a leader?" Luffy took a few moments before answers. "A leader must show loyalty to their fellow members. A leader must show kindness and respect to others. If someone doesn't respect their leader, then the leader doesn't respect them back. I wasn't born to serve. I was born to be a leader," which made Nami think about his captain. Nami nearly almost tear up, but Luffy hugged her, making her feel comfortable again about being on Luffy's side, but soon to be interrupted by Spectral barging in the men's quarter. "Captain?" Spectral said, "The devil fruit that we got from Skypiea, it's gone. It's not in the chest anymore," which made Luffy's eyes widen as he ran towards the chest room and opened the chest of where the stored devil fruits are. They found it, gone in the chest. "How the hell did this happen?" Luffy said, "How did we get robbed when some of us were guarding this ship ever since we got bunch loads of fruits? The only people who has access to this room is only us," Nami said, "but we were directly told to not touch the devil fruits or get it out of the chest. Matter of fact, we didn't find any information about the devil fruits," Sanji said. "It couldn't be the fleet commanders. They were at the shipyard all day. They were busy getting their ships. All we can know is that devil fruit can be dangerous," Kaya said. "Stay calm," Luffy said. "We must not panic about this. Maybe someone has not eaten it yet." "Yeah, we need to focus on the bigger things than the fruit," Zoro said. "Robin is still out there. She might be in trouble, and it could cause some problems for us." "Zoro's right. CP9 is still here," Luffy said. "They still have Robin with them. Things are about to get ugly." Everyone soon eventually calmed down, and not worried about the devil fruit for now. "Hey guys, Usopp is back," Vivi said, causing everyone's attention, and they soon went outside to see outside in the fog. "Let's not get excited just because he is back," Spectral said. "It's not like him to just show up again after what just happened." "He's right," Zoro said. "Captain, I think you should go down there." Luffy jumped ship and walked over to Usopp, and then Luffy punched the ground. "Usopp, what do you think you are doing?" Luffy asked his former crew's sniper member. "I challenge you to a duel for the Mary," Usopp replied, causing everyone except Luffy to be in shock. "What are you talking about, Usopp?" Vivi asked. "You know, our captain is basically like an emperor level compared to your strength. Is this really a fight over the Mary?" Nami asked Zoro, Spectral, Sanji. "Can you please make them not verse each other?" "Sorry Nami, but no can do," Spectral answered. "This is a fight between men," Zoro said. "That's basically what Usopp wants right now. It's best not to intervene, otherwise you might get hurt," Sanji said. Nami pouted and had to sit back and watch them fight. "Listen here, Monkey D. Luffy, I challenge you. If I win, I'm taking the Mary and leaving," Usopp declared. Luffy just sighed to see his foolish crew member fight his former captain. "If that's what you want, then I accept," Luffy said as he was charging at Usopp. "Gomu Gomu no rifle," Luffy yelled out as he was extending his arm to punch Usopp in the stomach. Usopp stood still as he took the first hit to his stomach and went down on his knees in pain. "Usopp, I at least expect you to dodge since you have observation haki," Luffy said in a serious voice, which gave Usopp a slight shiver down his spine. "You talk too much," Usopp said as he got up. "I'll show the power that I hold," which made Luffy and the others raise an eyebrow. "He has another power other than sniping from his sniper rifle? What are you talking about?" Luffy asks. "What power do you hold besides using your sniper?" "I'll show you," Usopp said as he raises his arms, and then a galaxy started to form in his hand, which made everyone's eye shock. "What the hell is that?" Luffy asks as he was staring at the galaxy in Usopp's hand. "It was from that fruit that I stole from that chest. I stole it after I left the ship," Usopp said, causing everyone's eye to be widened, except for Luffy. He was pissed. "So, not only you disobeyed your captain's decision, made me broke my promise to Usopp, and now you steal the devil fruit I told you not to grab out of the chest," Luffy said angrily. "Give it up, Luffy, you won't win against me, Captain Usopp. Now that I have this devil fruit, I can defeat you easily," Usopp as he threw a ball of galaxy at Luffy, which he obviously dodges, and then it was exploding like a supernova. It nearly hit the ship by an inch, and then Luffy charged at Usopp and activates his second gear and armament haki. "Gomu Gomu no jet pistol," Luffy yelled out, making Usopp knocked back, almost making crash into a building, making him fall down onto the ground. "Sorry. Looks like the fight is over," as he was walking away, making his way back to the ship, but then his Luffy was being pulled on. He then turned around to see Usopp still conscious. "This fight is not over. I won't lose to you," Usopp said as he stood back up and another galaxy started to form in his hand again. But Usopp was holding Luffy as the galaxy was in his hand. Luffy tried to let go but couldn't. "Galaxy hole," Usopp yelled out as placed a galaxy ball up to Luffy's stomach, making it explode and knocks back Luffy and making him crash into the ship, which caused everyone to shock. "Like I said, you can't win against the great Captain Usopp. Now take this galaxy ball." Usopp used the galaxy ball and throws it at Luffy and exploding it right on him. "I win," Usopp declared as he throws more galaxy balls at him, completely surrounding him in fog. Everyone on the crew looked at Usopp's antics. He was relying on the devil fruits, though Usopp's confidence died as he heard a sigh from the fog. "You are just like those people." Usopp looked at the figure behind him. "You rely on your devil fruits. Let me give you some advice. If you keep on relying on your devil fruits, it will eventually weaken your attack. But if you underestimate your enemy, it also weakens you." Luffy then draws his sword and activated his HAKI. "Sword secret art. Moonlight Hunter," Luffy called out, and beast starts to form behind him, and Luffy swung his sword, and the beast came forward at Usopp. Soon enough the beast hunted Usopp, which made his spat out blood, and Luffy scabbards his sword. "Do whatever you like with the Mary," Luffy said. "We are getting a new ship. This is our goodbyes to the Mary." Luffy walked back to ship. Chopper jumped off and ran towards Usopp to treat him. Luffy was grateful that Chopper decided to treat him. "Gather all of your things. We need a place to stay for tonight. We are going to look for Robin," Luffy said. Soon enough the crew started gathering all of their things and rented out an apartment for a place to stay for the night. Kaku POV. "The shipyard, Galley-La? Lucci, are we sure this is a good idea?" Kaku asked. "We basically provoking an emperor." "We will do what we were ordered to do," Lucci said. "Nico Robin will cooperate and will be sent to impel down." "I don't like this," Kaku said. "Straw Hat Luffy is not some pirate that the Navy had dealt with. He destroys you without any second thoughts." "Kaku, please," Caliphus said. "We are going to do that as we said. This rookie doesn't stand a chance against us." Kaku knew that she was going to regretting saying that later on. Luffy's POV. "Captain, are you okay?" Makita said. "Yeah, I should be fine. Although I'm still angry about Usopp," Luffy said. "Anyways, we need to get Robin back to our crew before CP9 puts her in impel down. Also, by the way," Makita said, "do you know Buggy the Clown?" "Let's just say I met him in Orange Town and gave him one hell of a fight," Luffy answered. "Well, he heard that you have grown population in the world, and he wants to become a member of your fleet," Makita said, which made Luffy raise an eyebrow and then look towards the shipyard. "Really? Well, give a call, I guess," Luffy said, "but tell him to train his subordinates into learning HAKI. I remember that fight being boring, and tell him to meet me at Water 7. Makita nodded and then left Luffy, then left the apartment and gets himself a Yagura, but soon to be interrupted by a call from his baby snail. "Hello? This is Straw Hat Luffy," Luffy said. "Captain, we have a problem," voice heard to be Sanji said. "The shipwrights by the shipyard are about to attack us, being involved in a shooting of Iceberg." Luffy then hears footsteps coming his direction. Soon the shipwrights started to charge at Luffy. "Damn it, the shipwrights are at my location," Luffy said. "Anyways, did you figure out where Robin or the CP9 agents are?" "CP9 is planning on attacking Iceberg's mansion," Sanji said. "I have no clue about where Robin is about to go. Tells the others to meet me by the shipyards," Luffy said. "Just don't kill the shipwrights. Only knocked out." Later Luffy then get out of the sideways and gets on his Yagura and make a run for it to the shipyard. Sanji starts making calls to the crew and eventually meet at the shipyard. Few minutes later, Luffy and his crew eventually arrived at the shipyard, and they were surrounded by shipwrights. But the Straw Hats didn't hold back. "We are getting out here the easy way," Luffy said. "Don't kill them, just knock them. We are not going to waste our—" Luffy was soon to interrupted when one of the shipwrights attacked him but dodged and punches him in the face. "Don't test me. I have zero qualms of destroying this place," Luffy said, and all of the shipwrights moved back from the crew. "Now then, listen well. I only came here to get news ships for my fleet and my crew. I did not come here to assassinate Iceberg. He and I go way back 5 years ago, but one of my crew members was kidnapped. Well, I came here get her back to my crew." Luffy unleashes his Conqueror's HAKI, knocking out the shipwrights, except for Iceberg's student. "Wait, Luffy? Is that really you?" one shipwright said. "Polly, looks like you haven't changed a bit," Luffy said. "Still gambling and causing havoc in Water 7? "Yeah, I am still gambling. Listen, sorry for jumping gun on you and your crew members," Polly said. "It's not a big deal," Luffy said. "We are pirates. That's what happens in the pirate world. Anyways, where is Iceberg's mansion? I heard CP9 is planning on going there. In the middle side of the island. It's best if you take a Yagura, Paulie said. Good enough for me, Luffy said. Sanji, go figure out how CP9 is going to get off of this island with Robin. Take Spectral with you. As for us, we are going to get recused Robin back. I have a question though, Zoro said. What about the Mary, since Aqua Lagoon is coming and the Mary is at the docks? The fleet commanders are helping Kaya with the Mary getting out of the storm, Luffy said. Once we return back to Water 7, we can say a proper goodbye to the Mary. Let's go split up, Luffy said. Nami, you and I are going to the front entrance. Okay, Luffy, Nami said. Zoro, Vivi, and Chopper, go the backyard, Luffy said. Yes, Captain, 3 of them said in unison. Time for us to wipe out these bastards and save Robin, Luffy said. Hour later, Iceberg's mansion, Galley-La, Kaku's POV. He had a bad feeling. They just provoke a powerful rookie in Paradises. He may know the 6 powers, but they are going to be outmatched by the strength of their crew. He know what power he holds. His strength is superhuman that could match any warlords or any world government agents. Lucci and the other agents were confident into successfully completing their mission. Straw Hat Luffy asked Kaku and Lucci to build their ships for his fleet. Kaku had the feeling that Lucci is not going to learn the easy way to not fight someone that might be powerful than him. Hold on, something isn't right, Califa said. Where the hell is? Before she could finish, Bueno appeared through the wall looking unconscious and being held by the neck and was bleeding from the head. Looking for this guy? Straw Hat Luffy said with a voice that made Kaku shiver down his spine. I just found him outside. Suddenly looks like he was trying to escape from me. Luffy then jumped out of the wall and drops the unconscious Bueno on the ground. So, you want to fight against the strongest agents of Cypher Pole? Lucci said. He transformed into his leopard form and went to attack, only for him to get punched in the face by a human tiger with armament HAKI, and get electrocuted by a lightning sword which pierced through his leopard skin. Don't you? Nami starts. Touch our captain, Vivi finished. That's Electro Master Nami and Nefertiti, Vivi. Califa said. Kaku noticed she was sweating. Kaku turned pale when he saw Pirate Hunter Zoro behind Califa, with a sword around her neck. Well, you guys have chosen humiliation to the public, Luffy said, unless you tell me where Robin is. She must be eradicated. Those were the orders Lucci started, but only to get interrupted when Luffy punched him in the stomach with armament HAKI. Bypassing his Tekai, Luffy punching him resulted Lucci to get sent flying through the wall outside. Damn it, Kaku cursed. Kaku tries to attack Luffy, but Luffy just sighed. You guys are so persistent, Luffy said. Cypher Pole 9 as he extends his arm and grabbed Kaku by the neck with armament HAKI, making Kaku bleed a little. Kaku! Califa yelled out. Kaku tries to let go of Luffy's arm. The Emperors of the Sea are the strongest pirates who rule these seas like kings, Luffy said as he was holding up Kaku. Since I'm almost one of the Emperors and you chose to fight us without permission, you guys have no rights. And then swings his hand against the wall while holding Kaku, resulting him slamming Kaku against the wall. And then Bueno wakes up. You were right, Kaku. Bueno said we shouldn't have provoked Straw Hat. No shit. Kaku said we need to get out of here. Kaku tries to save Califa with a Tempest kick and Zoro blocked with his swords and giving time for Califa to escape his grip. Hurry. Grab Bueno and get out of here. Kaku and the others tries to escape but blocked by Chopper using heavy point, and Luffy grabs Kaku again and lifts him up in the air. I'm not asking you again, Luffy said angrily. Where is Nico Robin? Califa and Bueno tries to help Kaku but failed as his crew members stopped them. Before Kaku could answer, there was an explosion which gave the agents enough time to escape the mansion. Few hours later, Water 7, Luffy's POV. Luffy was on top of the fountain because Aqua Laguna had just been come to Water 7. Meanwhile, the CP9 agents fled Water 7. Luffy then gets a call from his baby snail and answers. Hey Luffy, voice of Spectral said we are on a sea train right now, and CP9 is on board. Yeah, CP9 fled after that was an explosion at Iceberg's mansion. We are going to be right behind you once Aqua Lagoon has stopped, Luffy said, but whatever do you don't attack them unless they know you are on board with them. Luffy was soon to be interrupted. Hey Straw Hat Sambai said we really need your help. What do you need? Luffy asks. Listen, we know that we made you angry about stealing your money, Franky family member said, but our family boss was kidnapped by CP9. And we really need your help. I promise we will do anything to repay you back. Hey Spectral, is Franky on the ship with you and Sanji? Luffy asks Spectral. Sure is. I think we wants to help us save Robin, Spectral said, and I think he wants to make us a new ship for us. Franky went up Spectral, who was holding the baby snail in his hands. Hey Straw Hat, listen, I know you and I went on the wrong foot. Franky said, I know I stole your money and beat up your crew member, and then your crew came to beat up and destroy my house. Franky, it's water under the bridge. Man, Luffy said, all I need is to get Robin back and a new ship for our crew. Can I be an assistance to you? Franky asks, I know you might be powerful in paradise, but I want to fight alongside with your crew and help you get Robin back. Fair enough, we will be right behind you, Luffy said, but don't do any unnecessary. I'll bring your family goons along with us. Until then, later. Luffy then hangs up and then sighs. Few hours later, on the way to Enies Lobby, I have no qualms for destroying a government building, Luffy said, looking at his fist and sword. The world government has declared war against us. Show no mercy. I even want to practice my devil fruit since I barely even use it, Nami said while looking at her hands. Same here, my tiger claw hasn't been used very often, Vivi said. Luffy turned to Polly. You guys can do what you have to do, Luffy said, along with Franky family. Me and my crew will cover for you since these people have better strength than you guys. Suddenly Sanji got his way to the sea train where Luffy's group were, and he was carrying Spectral. Are you guys alright? Luffy asked. Yeah, we're fine. Some of the CP9 agents caught on and we got into a fight with them, Sanji answered. Franky is with them and Robin, but he is wounded. What matters now is that you are alright, Luffy said, and then he notices a stowaway behind Sanji. Sanji. Who is the stowaway? Oh, him? Some random person that I found on that sea train? Sanji answered. Alright then, Chopper, do a quick recovery of Sanji and Spectral, Luffy said. Chopper helps Spectral stand up and does treatment of both of them. They are not fully hurt, just some punches and kicks in the stomach. Let's go destroy Enies Lobby and save Robin back, Luffy said. Enies Lobby, Luffy's POV. As soon as the sea train approached closely to Enies Lobby, the Straw Hats didn't waste any time. Luffy and Zoro were cutting the metal gates. Those who won't surrender, then show no mercy, Luffy said. Show them what you're made of. Luffy unleashes his conqueror's haki that made all the marines close to the front of the door passed out. Luffy then cuts down the door, which made the door fall to the ground, landing it on some marines. Some of them were stuck. That's Straw Hat Luffy. One marine said, a bounty of 500 million berry. Wait, what? Another marine said, why is he here? CP9 brought in Nico Robin, and that just pissed him off. Another one said, gulping. Oh shit. The first said, we are so dead. He has no qualms about destroying anything, and I heard he went head-on against an admiral. Marineford, GRP POV. Garp was chilling in Sengoku's post with Tsuru, when suddenly they hear a knock on Sengoku's door. It was Gion. Gion had a panic expression. Fleet Admiral Sengoku. Vice Admirals. Gion said. What is it, Gion? Sengoku asks. CP9 has recently brought in Nico Robin in Enies Lobby, Gion said, making Garp's eye widen. But isn't Nico Robin a part of my grandson's crew? Garp said. Sengoku, please don't tell me you approve of the kidnapping of Nico Robin. My grandson has no qualms about destroying any buildings by the world government, Garp said. It came from the elders, and they specifically ordered. Sengoku was interrupted, but it wasn't from Garp. Are you out of your ing mind, Sengoku? Kazan screamed. Straw Hat Luffy almost killed me with one slice, one punch and one kick when I tried to kill him and Nico Robin. He has the power level of an emperor. He is just a rookie. It doesn't matter, Sengoku said stubbornly. He is just not some ordinary rookie, and it will matter after the result of Enies Lobby, you fool. Garp screamed. My grandson has been trained by red-haired Shanks. His strength is superhuman like me. He has trained with his father when he was 14. My grandson has nearly killed 2 pirates. There are 10 crew members, Sengoku said, annoyed. They can easily take of them. Just because they are crew members of 10 doesn't mean they are not that strong, Garp screamed angrily. I'm pretty sure Luffy can match all 3 of Big Mom's sweet generals, or even Big Mom herself. Stupid Fleet Admiral. Even if he is that brave, he won't make it, Sengoku said. Garp just gave up and didn't respond, and then he left the Fleet Admiral's post and breaking the door in anger. Garp just pray that he has qualms for some marines who would surrender. Enies Lobby, Luffy's POV. These guys are some pains in the neck. Why can't they just surrender? I'm calling for some help, Luffy said, as he took out his baby snail and called 2 of his fleet commanders, Dory and Broggy. Luffy tells them to destroy anything and help them, the other fleet commanders. Luffy then hangs up and puts his baby snail in his pocket. Luffy then makes his way to rooftop. Meanwhile his crew was destroying marines in their path. Imperial poison! Spectral calls out as he kicks the air and sends a slash of green arrow dripping with poison at some few marines, which hits their chest, causing them to bleed and leave a scar on their chest. And some poison was burning up the marines' uniforms. Like we said, don't get in our way, Spectral said. 3000 Worlds. Zoro calls out his attacks and charges at marines and Cypher Pole members, causing them bleed and kneel down in pain. This what happens if you dare challenge a crew like us, Zoro said. Chilly impact. Kaya calls out her attack as she crosses her arms, and then ice started to form on the floor, and ice started going the directions of the marines and freezes the marine solid. Well, that's a pity, Kaya said. Electric arts. Magma lightning. Nami calls out her attacks and an orb started to form in her hands and electric particles started to form and throws the orbs in her faces, and it impacted the Cypher Pole agents and explodes on them and electrocutes some of them. I wonder there if I can come up with some more techniques I might come up with, Nami said to herself. Spiral Storm. Vivi calls out her attack as her arm starts to transform into a tiger claw and grabs as many marines or Cypher Pole agents in her arms before her arms are starting to electrify the enemies. You're wasting your and our time. Just stop trying to attack us, Vivi said. Collier Sanji calls out his attack and kicks several marines and Cypher Pole members with armament HAKI, making them crash into the wall. Just give up while you can, Sanji said. This is personal business. Chopper was using his heavy point and punching some marines who were blocking the others who were in Luffy's way. Then Luffy continued to make his way to the rooftop. Wait, please. Have mercy, Marine said as was trying to run away from Luffy, which he pulled out his sword and activated armament HAKI. Sorry, can't do that. My patience has zero tolerance. Plus I have no qualms of sparing marines or Cypher Pole agents who gets in my way, Luffy said as he unleashes Conqueror's HAKI, which knocked every marine except for a marine captain. Luffy then smirked, and then there is purple aura surrounding his sword. Sword secret arts. Venoms of Wrath. Luffy calls out his attack and slashes the marine captain, which made the marine captain unconscious, and then the purple aura was gone. There are 8 secret arts for a sword like this. However, takes like 2 months to master them. Glad I started training myself with a sword during my teenage years at home, Luffy said as he was walking around, made his way to the rooftop. Somewhere in the Grand Line. Shanks POV. Hey Shanks, have you heard about the Marine's next dumbest idea? Ben asked. No, Shanks said as he was chilling with Ben at the deck while drinking sake, but if you're mentioning it, it must be important. They decide to send CP9 after Robin and manage to have kidnapped her in Water 7, Ben said. With that, Shanks spit out his sake. Wait, what? Shanks said as he spat all of his sake. Are they stupid? Anchor is a type of person who will not let his friend get kidnapped. He will have zero qualms about destroying Enies Lobby. His strength is powerful enough to face one of the emperors and outmatch CP9. He won't let anyone hurt his crew members. Sadly, Sengoku is so senile, Ben said. Even then 5 elders, they think that Anchor is just an ordinary rookie. Those crazy old fools, Shanks said, shaking his head. Well, Anchor is about to become one of us. I heard he already has a fleet. Also, you told me that Anchor wields a sword that holds the 8 secret arts, Ben said. How long does it take to master it? Knowing Anchor's potential, he told me it takes like 5 months to master. But during his training he was able to master it in 2 weeks. Shanks said, I didn't think he was going to be much powerful in these sea. Baltaigo. Dragon POV. Dragon was sitting in his office and reviewing some paperwork when suddenly we hear a certain topic. Hey, do you hear what was going on in the Grand Line? A revolutionary said. Yeah, some pirate crew is destroying Enies Lobby, another revolutionary said. Pirate crew? You mean some pirates is fighting against Cypher Pole? Another revolutionary said. Yeah. Their captain of that crew is known as Straw Hat Luffy. People say he is the superhuman rookie in the Grand Line. First revolutionary said. Yeah, his strength is like on an emperor level. It's insane, the third revolutionary said. But I do wonder, why is Straw Hat fighting CP9? Apparently, CP9 took one of Straw Hat's crew members and it pissed him off so much that his crew and his fleet commanders are destroying Enies Lobby as we speak, another revolutionary said. Well, CP9 is in for it now, first revolutionary said. So, my son, I see you're causing havoc at Enies Lobby right now. This will not stop you. Show them your true strength, Dragon thought. Enies Lobby. Luffy POV. Marines were running for their lives as Luffy and his crew were trying to make their way to the rooftop. Luffy's fleet commanders were outside destroying the island with some marines, Cypher Pole members to stand in their way but was soon to be knocked out by Conqueror's HAKI. Someone make us a hole through the ceiling. I feel like that's the rooftop, Luffy said. Zoro nodded and makes us slashed into the ceiling, making a hole for the crew, and jumped onto the rooftop one by one and appear on the roof, where Blueno waiting for them. Luffy was smirking. I can't let you pass here, Straw Hats, Blueno said as he was preparing for a fight. Welp, what a pity. I guess we are about to revisit of what happened in Water 7, Luffy said as he uses Gear Second to punch him in the stomach, making him unconscious, and make him drop on the floor and toss to the stop of the Enies Lobby building where they heard a scream. Is their boss a woman? Spectral asks mockingly. Probably just some coward who just sent his pets to challenge us, Luffy said. How dare you come here? Someone screamed with a mask. Do you know you who are messing with? No, and I don't care who I'm messing with, Luffy said. Listen, I'm getting bored of staying here. I came here to get back Robin, which your pets kidnapped in Water 7. Luffy unleashes another burst of Conqueror's HAKI, making the remaining Marines behind them pass out as their allies appeared and cleaned them up. Luffy then Robin had a black eye, which made Luffy madder but didn't show his expression as he remained calm and ready to beat up their boss until he asked for death. Looks like you don't understand, the idiot said. Luffy saw Franky, who fought along with them before apologizing for pissing off the captain, and the Kaku slightly shake his head. This flag represents the 20 countries that founded by the world government. You intend to go against it. I don't give a shit about the world government, Luffy said with no emotion, which scared him a bit. Spectral, make that flag burst into flames, Luffy said with no emotions. Roger, Spectral said as an orb started to form in his hand. Poison style. Infernal ball, Spectral called out as he throws a ball that was covered in flames and poison was dripping, and it was flying directly towards the government flag, which results of the flag burning up into flames. Did everyone see that? Marines said they fired at the government flag. The Straw Hats just declared war against the world government, another Marine said. You. The moron said you just challenged the world. Gover was interrupted when Luffy unleashes another Conqueror's HAKI, making the moron on his knees. You declared war on us. Luffy and Straw Hats screamed together. The moron started to take Robin away along with Lucci behind him. Let's go, here is the sea train, Luffy said as he jumps to get on the sea train along with the other Straw Hats and made their way to the building. I'll be taking care of that pigeon bastard. Once I'm done with him, I'm taking care of that moron personally, Luffy said. I'm going after that long-nosed agent. Spectral, give me a hand, Zoro said. Looks like I'm taking care of that dog over there, Sanji said as he was pointed at the dog agent who was sweating. Jabra, you better run for your life, Kaku said. What, why? Jabra asked, annoyed, but when he looked at the Straw Hats he started to sweat shit. He then tries to run only for Sanji to match his speed and kicks him over to the wall. Don't let your guard down, Luffy said. I guess you 3 girls are taking care of that woman, and then the 3 girls nodded and make their way upstairs. But Jabra tries to stop the 3 girls, but Nami kicked him where it's the men's weakness, and then he came crashing down and all the men crew members turned pale of what Nami did. Was that necessary? Spectral asks as he was winced down to ground in pain to see what just had happened. Please don't tell me you used armament. His pants were in my face. Sorry, Nami said and saw the male crew members were on the ground. Next time, don't be so overkill. I actually felt that, Zoro said. Let's just take care of the agents and hurry and get this done with, Luffy said. It kills me to even stay here. Alright then, Zoro said Spectral. Let's go and beat up that log-nosed Kaku. Zoro takes out his swords, and Spectral made himself some poison wings and went with Zoro. Time for me to beat up this leopard, Luffy said. After this I need to upgrade my sword. Luffy then runs to the direction where he saw that moron and Lucci take Robin. Franky and Chopper's POV. Chopper soon eventually met up with Franky and was running around the building when suddenly Chopper felt danger around them and activated his armament HAKI. Looks we found our fight, Chopper said to Fatso. Who are you calling Fatso? A strange childish-looking fat man said. Then what are you supposed to be? Franky asked. A CP9 agent. This will be your end, the Fatso said. Not if we take you down first, Chopper said as he transforming into his heavy point. You pirates will perish, a strange man said. I'm ready for a fight always, Chopper said as he was getting for to punch. Zoro and Spectral. They made their way to a library, and they saw the square-nosed agent sitting there. So, looks like you two are my opponents, said Square-Nose. The name is Kaku, by the way. He takes out 2 swords as Zoro did the same. I'll be your backup in case, Spectral said. Understood. Don't let your guard down. And remember, Never underestimate your enemy, just like our captain said, Zoro said, and Spectral nodded. Zoro went first to attack Kaku. Spectral was watching before he has a chance to hit Kaku in the back. But with Kaku, he was starting to cut everything with a powerful technique of the Marines. But as for Spectral, for being a quick leaner, he decides to look very closely at Kaku's strategy. Suddenly, Kaku transforms into a giraffe and started attacking Zoro the whole time, which Spectral sighed. He literally forgot that he was fighting along with Zoro. Hey fool, Zoro said, sweat dropping, did you forget it's a 2v1? Spectral sends poison fists at Kaku, which knocks him over and making him lay down on poison on his stomach. Ouch, ouch, Kaku said as he was getting off the ground. Spectral goes in for another punch, but Kaku dodges a Jeppo. Spectral saw as he jumped away barely from his fist intercepting his stomach. He thought he actually got away but didn't dodge the sword attack from Zoro, resulting him getting slammed into the ground, and Spectral punches him again. Damn you two, Vivi, Nami and Kaya. Was that necessary, Nami? You didn't have to do that, Kaya said. Like I said, his pants were in my face, and I felt like it, Nami answered. Enough bickering, let's get this over with. I'm starting to get myself annoyed from being here too long, Vivi said. You're not wrong there, Nami said. Let's just fight this woman and get this over with. The three girls starting make their way upstairs to find the agent bathing in a pink, fancy room. Khalifa saw the three entered in and smirked. The three of them twitched their eyes. She was taking a bath while a battle is going down. So, you must be the three chicks from Straw Hat's crew, Khalifa said. What is it to you? Nami said, we dedicate our lives to Luffy. How did a brat like him was able to make you join his crew, Khalifa said as she got up from the bath and put her clothes back on. Vivi then turned into her hybrid form and started attacking Khalifa but dodges, and she kicks in the door, and then touches Kaya's arm and making her into bubble form. What is this? Kaya asked. My arm feels weird. I made your arm feel it was soapy. I ate the bubble fruit, Khalifa said. Thunder demolition. Nami calls out her attacks and clouds started to form around Khalifa and shoots lightning bolts. But Khalifa turned into bubbles and escaped the thundercloud trap. Luffy went speeding through the tunnels by using gear. Second after he blows up the door, they took Robin until he arrived at a warehouse. He thought he was alone but not. That leopard was looking at him, with a calm face. I really don't understand you, Straw Hat, he said. Why are you trying to save Nico? Robin, she was Maya. Luffy didn't let him finish as he punched him in the face with armament HAKI, sending him crashing into the craters. You're talking to way ahead yourself, government dog, Luffy said, cracking his knuckles and neck. I'll show why you should have not pissed me off. As he finished cracking his knuckles, he started to forward at the government dog. Sure, gone, said suddenly Lucci, but Luffy blocks with armament HAKI on his chest to block the bullets. What's going on? Is he really that dumb, or does he not realize that Luffy is using armament? These government dogs know the basics of HAKI. But Luffy will take advantage of this. You know the rule, Luffy said. You hit me first, then I hit back. Luffy then activates gear second and sends a punch at Lucci, but didn't give Lucci enough time to dodge since the attack was fast and crashed into another crater. And then Lucci turns into his hybrid form. You chose to fight your superiors, Lucci said furiously. I won't lose to some rookie like you. But before he could attack, he hears his boss through the speakers. Buster Call? What do you mean I activated the Buster Call? He screeches. I knew he was an idiot, but this is just another level of stupidity, Luffy said. He heard Robin insult him, and then he heard she was getting hit by the boss. Once I'm finished with you, I'm taking that moron's head. Sorry, but I won't let you pass, Lucci said. I'll end you before you even get through. Luffy then punches him as he was still talking, but then he was getting bored and then he pulls out his sword, Misery. Lucci then tries to a marine technique, but Luffy barely dodges it. And then Luffy reactivates armament HAKI on his sword. He then slashes part of the warehouse with one big slash. Luffy saw Lucci sweat in fear. I just lost my patience. And when I do lose it, I have used my sword combined with my devil fruit, Luffy said. I'm had enough of staying here for one day. And since your stupid boss called in a Buster Call, we are going to have to destroy it, which is a pain. Sanji, damn it. Why did your crew member have to hit me there? Jabra asks. 'Cause we do whatever we want, Sanji answered. We had enough of staying here. We only came here to rob him back. And since my captain is very antsy, we are going to finish this as soon as possible. Doggy, I am Wolf, not a damn dog, Jabra said. But you are a government dog, Sanji said. Okay, This is just humiliating, Jabra said. Should have thought twice before messing with us, Sanji said. Apparently your retarded boss thought we wouldn't come and save our crewmate. Did it not occur to you at all, Sanji said, or did you think we wouldn't care? You damn government brought this upon yourself. This is that damn brat's fault, Jabra said. Nico Robin as Sanji interrupted him with a kick in the face with armament HAKI, making him crash into a wall. Don't insult Robin or the captain, you furball, Sanji said. Furball? Jabra said with a tick mark on his forehead as he rushes over to Sanji. You damn punk. Sorry, did you say something? I wasn't listening, Sanji said as he was kicking him in the stomach. But the wolf activated Tekai before the kick, but sadly, it didn't save him as he was kicked against the wall again. Iron armor? The hell was that? It's something to use to harden my skin, Jabra said. Well then guess I got to activate armament, Sanji said as he turns on his armament HAKI on his legs. Damn you! Jabra said, but then froze as Sanji instantly put his leg up to Jabra face. Oh shit. Franky and Chopper. These guys are annoying, Franky said. How are you holding up? Yeah, I can agree with you, Chopper said, but we need to get out of here as soon as possible. You damn punks! The strange man said that acts like a samurai, but Chopper grabs him and throws him away, making him crash into the wall. I'll take care of this guy, Chopper said. Take care of the fatso. You little bastard! The fatso said, but Franky punches him but blocked it by making his skin covered in iron armor. But Franky wasn't going to give up. He then punches the fatso harder and starts shooting bullets at him as he was screaming in pain. He then stole the key for Robin's sea stone cuffs. Typical enemies, Franky said, and then kicks the fatso over to the side. Well, looks like my part is finished. Now I have to go help other Straw Hats to rescue Robin. Can you give me a hand? Chopper said as he was dodging some attacks of his opponent. Get down, Franky said. Chopper nodded. Franky, strong right. He launched his right fist and hits the government dog, but it wasn't enough to defeat him. My turn now, Chopper said as he kicks him and punches him with armament HAKI. You won't stop me, the government dog said. Then we will defeat you, Franky said as he makes him arm turn into a minigun and shoots at the government dog. And then Chopper finishes him off with a punch coated in HAKI. Kaku was right there, enemy said as he was laying down on the floor. We shouldn't have provoked this crew. They are too strong, as he was losing consciousness. You shouldn't have, Chopper said as he kicks him over to the side and steals the key from him. Let's go, and try to help Luffy. Because you heard that moron, he activated a buster call. What is a buster call? Franky asks. Basically, there is going to be Navy warships surrounding the island, and we have to destroy it, Chopper said. I knew he was an idiot, but this is a different level, Franky said. Let's hurry up. Spectral and Zoro. Tempest kick, Kaku called and kicks the air, resulting a slash directly coming towards Zoro and Spectral. But Zoro blocks the attack with his swords. I feel like our captain is getting too impatient. And if he does, he might destroy this building, Zoro said. Not only that, but there is also Buster Call. Yeah, knowing our captain, the patience had reached zero, Spectral said as he turns to Kaku. Listen, Kaku, no hard feelings. But we need to get out of here and get Robin back to us. You can try, but you will not succeed, Kaku said. You will all be destroyed by the Buster Call, along with Nico Robin, which made Spectral snapped, and then Spectral angrily punches him very hard, which shocked Kaku. Did you just snap? Kaku asked. What the hell was that? You're talking too much, government dog, Spectral said. No Buster Call is going to stop us, Zoro said. If the Buster Call isn't going to destroy you, then I'll destroy you myself, Kaku said as he launches another Tempest kick. Spectral covers his arm in poison, and then expands his arm, making it bigger. What the hell? Did your arms just expand? I made a new technique of my devil fruit even since I got to the island, Spectral said, but this fruit is very essence of paramecia. But I'm not the type of person who rely on my devil fruit too much. Spectral poison arm starts to turn purple. Poison burst. Spectral yelled out, and he shoots his fist straight at Kaku, resulting to land a punch on his face, leaving him to get poison on his giraffe skin, causing him to yelp in pain. Your turn, Zoro. Spectral yelled out Zoro, which Zoro nodded and activated Ashura and cuts up Kaku. And then blood came out and Kaku comes out his hybrid form unconscious. Zoro then steals the key for Robin's handcuffs. We need to hurry, Zoro said. The Navy is here right now as we speak. Spectral nodded and then ran away outside to get Robin. Sanji, since your Tekai allows you to harden your skin, Sanji said, I can't use armament with my base style. So, I have used something different. How's that going to help you defeat me? Jabra said while raising an eyebrow. By using a new technique, Sanji said as he was spinning around as his legs caught on fire. This is diable jam. An extreme heat that adds bigger impact of my legs, he said as he was charging at Jabra, but when Jabra used his Tekai, but it failed as Sanji kicked him harder by using his new technique and armament, resulting him crash into the hole. And then Jabra stops a key on the floor and Sanji picks it up. You damn punk! Jabra, shut up for a ball. Sanji said it's over. I need to help the others to destroy the buster call that your idiot boss activates. You won't be do anything, Jabra said, not anything if I destroy you. You hear me? He charges at Sanji and tried to use his finger pistol, but Sanji dodges and kicks him in the jaw, and Sanji sends him flying through the roof, making Jabra unconscious. Jabra! Khalifa said, but before Khalifa could do anything, Vivi grabbed her by the neck and Khalifa tries to get out of her grip. Vivi, Nami, and Kaya, you're fighting us, Nami said. Don't be worrying about your government friend, Vivi said as she throws Khalifa against the wall. Worry about yourself. After this battle, we got to help Luffy and the others with the buster call. Kaya said we won't take long. Let's finish this. You guys are going to pay for this. Khalifa said angrily as she tries to punch Nami, but Nami dodges her and hits her waist with her electric hands, electrocuting her. Kaya freezes her legs, unable to move. Howling storm! Vivi yells as she shoots a beam of light at Khalifa in her hybrid form, resulting Khalifa being yelping in pain after a few moments of going unconscious. Vivi then untransformed out of her hybrid form. I finally get to fight in my hybrid, Vivi said, but yet again, we have more work to finish if we want to leave. Yeah, let's hurry up. I think Luffy is still having his battle with that leopard bastard, Nami said. Let's help the others destroy the buster call and save Robin. Luffy, you're lucky that I can't use Gear 4th while using a sword, Luffy said, but still, you are nothing compared to me or the Emperor's. I thought you were told I kicked the Ice Admiral's ass. What will happen if I do the same thing I did to that admiral? There's only one person that I can't defeat. I've had enough of you. Lucci said the others should have finished your crew members by now. Before he could say anything, they heard an explosion. Looks like the buster call is here. It's over, Straw Hat. Straw Hat, Franky said as he was right behind Luffy, followed by everyone except for Zoro and Spectral were outside. What should we do? Go, recuse Robin and destroy the buster call if you can. I'm still taking care of this leopard bastard. Show them what you're made of, Luffy said. Roger that. Franky and the rest of the crew started to make their way to the door. Lucci tries to stop them, but Luffy kicked him away from them and making crash into another crater. You're fighting me, Luffy said. Why are you going after them? Lucci stood up as he was furious by looking at Luffy. I swear you're such a pain, Lucci said. Your crew may have defeated the other agents, but you won't defeat me, Lucci said. Let me put you out of your misery. No need for that, Luffy said. I had enough of this fight with you. Luffy then lifted up his sword and blue aura started to swarm around his, and then Luffy sets down his sword down to his waist. Sword secret art. Imperial Supernova. Luffy then swung his sword at the direction of Lucci was running towards. Then a two vertically and horizontally slashes appeared in the air and going to Lucci's direction, and then it pierces through Lucci's leopard skin causing him to have a cut, and then the slashes through Lucci's skin and causing the wall to break, and Lucci screams in pain until he passes out. Thank goodness, I was actually about to lose my mind, Luffy said. Well, at least I can help the others with the buster call as he puts his sword back in his scabbard, and then makes his way to get outside. Luffy then used Jeppo. Having to learn to use it by seeing these agents use it in battle, he had to use second gear to make his way to outside where the Navy warships are surrounding the island. Look! A Marine said. It's Lucci, of CP9. There is Straw Hat Luffy. Another Marine said. Looks like he defeated Lucci. We must destroy him, a Vice Admiral said. Luffy then recognized the Vice Admiral and then pulls out his sword again and cuts down multiple Marines with the use of his second gear. You damn Marines always piss me off. It kills me to even stay here, Luffy said. Well, that idiot actually gave me a good fight, but it was boring. Hey Luffy, grab on, Spectral said as he flying over Luffy and hold out his hand, and Spectral brought Luffy to the bridge, where they saw the CP9 boss and Robin. Look who it is, Luffy said. A piece of trash, CP9 boss. You will pay for this, the moron said. Suddenly, hands surrounded his body and grabbed him. Clutch, Robin said. Luffy heard his spine broken of that idiot. Kill the Straw Hats, a Marine said. Destroy everything. We must not let them leave. You won't destroy anything, Makita said as she started shooting at the warships, Meanwhile, other 3 ships started to appear and started to shoot. It's the fleet commanders, Nami said. No way, Captain? Makita said. We finished destroying the other side of Enies Lobby. We are here to help. Good enough for me, Luffy said. Start destroying the warship. Since they declared war and activated the buster call, we will finish this. Then the fleet commanders smiled at that. Also, this might sound crazy, but your ship is here, Makita said, and it somehow called us here. Our ship, Luffy said. The Going Merry? Looks like we have an escape after all, Spectral said. We have to jump, Zoro said. Everyone, jump! Luffy said as he looked at Enies Lobby building collapsing and falling into pieces. This what happens if you provoke us. World government. Luffy, the Straw Hats, and Franky jumped and landed on the Merry commanders, shoot at the warships. Dory and Broggy sliced the other warships in half. The commanders nodded and started doing what they were told. Marine ships were blown up, Marine's ship were sliced into 2s. And soon enough, the buster call was destroyed. Let's go. We have no reason to stay here much longer. The Mary has a new few minutes before she falls apart. After they left the ruins of Enies Lobby, the Mary had fallen down, much to the horror of Luffy and others. They had no choice to say their goodbyes to the Mary in the middle of the sea. Soon enough they returned back to Water 7 to have a break before they need to depart from Water 7 again. Water 7, Luffy's POV. Luffy and his crew recently came back to Water 7 after the results of Enies Lobby. Iceberg eventually gives them a house to let them rest for a few days before departing from Water 7. People of Water 7 was trying to bother the crew but was saved by Polly and his friends. Please sir, we just want to see the Straw Hats, a man said. Listen, Straw Hat and his crew needs their space. They had a long day and very tired. Don't bother them, Polly said. Yeah, Mr. Straw Hat doesn't need people bothering him and his friends, Lulu said. Eventually the civilians of Water 7 eventually backed away from the house where the Straw Hat pirates were. My goodness, seems like after your battle in Enies Lobby, people want check up on you so badly, Granny Kokoro said. It's best if Luffy needs his rest. He is very eager to rest, Sanji said. You don't want to see if he is really impatient or annoyed. What do you mean? Kokoro said. Well, you see, if Luffy really wants to sleep but people are pestering him, he could eventually snap and go crazy, Nami said. But then Luffy falls asleep while eating. He also didn't want to collapse after his battle against Lucci, so he made the sleep-eating technique. Oh, so he is multitasking. Impressive, Kokoro said. Anyways, what's your guys' plan before getting a new ship and departing from Water 7? Well, Luffy suggested that we should have a party and get us some new supplies before we depart, Zoro said as he walking in with Robin, Chopper, and Kaya should be back any minute. They went to downtown to purchase medical supplies. Alright then, I think Spectral should coming back with them, since you asked him to buy you new swords, Nami said. I wonder why Franky is? Soon enough the door started to bust open, and it was Franky with Kiwi and Moza dancing and saying their hellos to them. Nice to see you again. But next time, can you keep it down because Luffy is trying to sleep, Sanji said. Sorry, my bad. Anyways, I wanted to tell Captain something, but I'll wait once he wakes up. Until then, mind if I hang out with you for a few moments? Franky said. Meh, I suppose. There is not much to do around here until we depart, Zoro said. Soon enough, Spectral came through the door along with Chopper and Kaya. Looks like we are all here. I'll start preparing food for you guys. Luffy didn't eat much because he was too tired, Sanji said. Few days later, Garp's POV. Civilian was gathered at the docks to see a specific marine. It was Garp's battleship. Soon enough, Vice Admiral Garp got off of his ship and started making his way to the city along with a few marines following behind him. He remembers he was trying to warn Sengoku about not to piss of Luffy but didn't listen to his friend. The result of Enies Lobby was a perfect example to not piss any strong pirate's crew, such as an Emperor of the Sea crew. Garp then approached the house where Luffy and his crew was staying to rest. He then breaks the wall with his fist, causing a big hole in the wall. He's a marine, Sanji said. That's Vice Admiral Garp. Spectral said. What's he doing here? I came here for Monkey D. Luffy, Garp said as he saw his grandson sleeping on the table just like always. A reckless, lazy punk. Garp then used Saru to dodge Luffy's crew members who were putting their guard up, and then dash over to Luffy. Damn, he is fast, Spectral said. No way, Vivi said. Wake up, brat. Garp said as he punches Luffy in the head, resulting him to smash his face into the table. Oh no! Chopper said. This is bad. He is about to be pissed. Kaya said. Ouch. Who the hell hit me while I was sleeping? Ow, Luffy said. But as soon he saw the figure, he was sweating. Shitty Gramps? The Straw Hats and the Marines were shocked to hear what Luffy just said. Luffy is the grandson of the hero of Marines, Vice Admiral Garp? Wait a minute, Luffy is this Navy Vice Admiral your grandfather? Chopper said. What? The Straw Hats and Marines said in unison. I think you owe me an apology, you lazy brat. Garp said. You have been causing chaos to the world lately. Damn it, Gramps. I said I was going to set out to sea and bring shame the world government. Luffy said. The last thing I need is you to get off my ass and not let the 3 admirals of the Navy get in my way. I didn't come here as a Marine, really. Garp said. I came here as a grandfather. It's been a while, old man, Luffy said, but how the hell did you figure out I was here? I was told that some pirates were heading back to Water 7 after the results of Enies Lobby. Garp said. I warned the fleet admiral not to piss you off, but he didn't listen to me. You really gave Enies Lobby a pain, didn't you? You know I'm the type of person who doesn't let their get kidnapped, Luffy said. No way, Garp had a grandson? A Marine said, and he is the superhuman of paradise. What family is that? Another Marine said. Garp never told us that he had a grandson, another Marine said. Wait, Garp? Nami said. Garp is the Navy hero who fought against GOLD. Roger, right? Yeah, he is. Luffy said. He may be a vice admiral, but he is stronger than you think. Listen, brat, I heard you almost killed my pupil in the past. Garp said. Mind explaining to why did get so pissed off at him? You pupil? Luffy asked, confused. Oh, you mean Kazan? Well, he tried to kill me after he helped a few survivors that was stranded on an island, and I might have given him a warning threat, possibly? Garp then punches Luffy in the face. Ouch, what was that for? You're still being violent as ever. Luffy, if you would have killed Kazan on that island, it would have put a shame to my legacy as Marine hero, Garp said. But aren't you training some others? Luffy asked. Plus it's in the past. You met Kazan 8 years ago, and then you broke his face, Garp said, and you met him like a week ago, and you almost killed him. He decided to fight me. I was planning on going back to my ship until he challenged me, Luffy said. Not my fault he didn't. What strength I hold. This is that damn red-haired fault, Garp said. If he didn't come to village or train you, then you could have been a Marine. I dedicate my life to Shanks, unlike you who always trained me when I was 5 years old, shitty Gramps. You reckless brat. I swear I'm going to beat some manners into you. Don't talk to your grandfather like that, Garp said as he was about to punch Luffy again. But he falls asleep. Everyone saw this and they were shocked. Well, I guess that's where Luffy get it from. Spectral said. The Straw Hats were agreeing with that, and suddenly Garp woken up. Did I fall asleep again? Garp said as saw the sleeping Luffy and then got mad. Wake up, you reckless lazy brat. You're 18 years old. Take your lecture like a man, he said as he was beating Luffy again for sleeping in Garp's grip. Some of the Straw Hats were sweat dropping at Luffy's grandfather's actions. Anyways, there's 2 people I want you to meet, Garp said as he done punching Luffy multiple times. Zoro was fighting a blonde-haired guy with quirky knives. Wait, Zoro, we don't. Luffy was interrupted by a kick in the jaw. Who are you and what the hell did you do that for? Luffy was about to punch back, but the enemy used Zoro and appears behind Luffy ready to attack him again. But Luffy grabs him the collar from behind and drops him to the ground ready to punch him. Boys, seems like you were no match for my grandson's crew after all, Garp said. Luffy then recognized the Marine. Kobe. Kobe, is that really you? Luffy asks. Yeah, it's me. Been a while, huh? Kobe answered. A year was probably a while for you, I guess. Luffy said. I remembered you being a squirt when I saved you from that ship that Alvida had you as a cabin boy. Well, I'm still in training, but I heard you caused a lot of destruction at Enies Lobby, Kobe said. Wait a minute, Luffy? When you said a year, did you mean you left home when you were 17? Garp asks. Technically, but I didn't officially set out to sea to become a pirate at 17. I was around the East Blue and was able to get to paradise by myself, Luffy said. I swear, Luffy, you're always making trouble everywhere you go, Garp said. About this wall, you Marines fix it. Then why did you break in the first place? A Marine asked. Because it doesn't make a good entrance by walking through the front door, Garp answered. Okay, fine, we will fix it because you got to help us since it was your mistake, a Marine said. Okay, fine, Garp said. Just give me a hammer and help his Marine subordinates help repair the wall that Garp had made. Luffy, I heard you met your old man back in Logue Town, Garp said. Yeah, Dragon was there, but we were just talking. His revolutionary days made him pissed, Luffy said, causing everyone to widen their eyes. Dragon's your dad? Straw Hats except Zoro and Robin asked his captain, which he shook his head. Yes, Monkey D. Dragon, also known as the Revolutionary Dragon, is my dad, Luffy said. He's the son of the revolutionary leader? And he is the grandson of Hero of the Marines? What kind of family is that? A Marine asked. Anyways, have you heard about my mama or my cousins? Luffy asks his grandfather. Oh, has my daughter been visiting you lately? Garp asks. She often visits once a year. She came by to see me set out to sea to begin my journey of being a pirate. Luffy answered. I'm not even sure Mama and Dad had met each other in a while. Wait, Luffy, Garp is not actually your grandfather? Nami asks. He is my grandfather from my mama's side of the family, Luffy answered. Everyone was wondering who Luffy's grandfather from his father's side. Then who is your grandfather from your father's side? Kobe asked the final question. Well, I was not planning on saying this, but looks I'm being forced to answer these questions since my crew is dying to know. Luffy said. I'm the grandson of Roxy, XEBEC, which means my father's actual name is Roxy Dragon and my actual name is Roxy Luffy, he said, causing everyone's eye to widen. Luffy is the grandson of Roxy XEBEC. What kind of family tree is that? Roxy XEBEC? You mean the strongest pirate from the old era? Kobe asks, and then Luffy just sighed and shook his head. Yes, I'm his grandson. Dragon told me about him since I was 14 years old. He then told me that he was defeated by Roger and Garp. Luffy answered. The Marines were looking pale. The Straw Hats were in disbelief, including Usopp, who was watching from the window. I know I'm going to regret this soon. Wait, then who is your mother? Kobe asked the final question. My mother's name is Monkey D. Rose, the world's strongest assassin, Luffy answered, causing everyone around to feel more shocked except for Garp, which he and Luffy just sighed. Monkey D. Rose? Spectral said. So not only you're the son of the revolutionary dragon, but you're the son of worst criminal assassin in history? Yeah, she used to be a pirate, but then she quit to create her own organization along with my father, Luffy answered, knowing he was going to regret saying this. If any of you speak about this to the world government or the public, I'm going to be sending you the deadliest forest for a month, you hear me? Garp said, and the Marines nodded and turns back to his grandson. I swear, Luffy, you're always doing something crazy. And also here are your new bounties, as he tosses the new bounties on the floor and left the area. Please don't tell me, Sanji said as he grabbed his bounty poster off the floor. Are you serious right now? Why do I have the same name and picture? Luffy and the other Straw Hats burst out laughing. Blackleg pervert Sanji, wanted dead or alive. $150 million. They started to take a look at their own bounties. Straw Hat Luffy, wanted dead or alive. $1,125 million. Well then I'm in the billions, let's go, Luffy said. Pirate Hunter Zoro, wanted dead or alive. $450 million. Zoro then smiled at his new bounty. Demon Child Robin, wanted dead or alive. $330 million. Robin just laughed. Sniper of Heaven Usopp, wanted dead or alive. $80 million. Usopp wasn't with them, but he could have imagined what would his reaction be if his bounty really went up. Electro Master Nami, wanted dead or alive. $250 million. Breezy Kaya, wanted dead or alive. $250 million. Storm Princess Nefertiti Vivi, wanted dead or alive. $250 million. All three of us got the same bounty numbers, Nami said. Poison King Spectral, wanted dead or alive. $320 million. Meh, my bounty has doubled. Fine with me in any way, Spectral said. Monster Dr. Chopper, wanted dead or alive. $50 million. Sounds like a good upgrade on this, Chopper said. Luffy then sees a new paper and picks it up. Once he saw the front cover, his eyes widen. Straw Hat Luffy, Delcars as 5th Emperor of the Sea, after bringing down Enies Lobby. Luffy then saw a bounty poster of Franky, and then picked it up. Franky, wanted dead or alive. $44 million. Franky got himself a bounty as well, Luffy said. What are you suggesting? Spectral asked. Since we need a new ship, we are going to have shipwright on our crew. Then this is a good time, Iceberg said. Please follow me. The Straw Hats follow the shipwright to one of the older piers, or more like a ship graveyard. Luffy then froze when he saw the new ship. It's beautiful, Nami, Kaya and Vivi said in unison. Iceberg then explains the ship. I heard you were planning on recruiting Franky, Iceberg said, but you're going to have to convince him. A/N. I was planning on writing the part where they chased him, or where Robin does what she does to him. But because I'm so lazy that I'm not going to do it. Now since we have Franky as our shipwright on the crew, Luffy said, we have to leave tomorrow morning. I thought you should know, Captain Sand said. Usopp is planning on making a return speech. Really? Does he not know that he is on thin ice right now? Vivi asks. Apparently not. He thinks that it was just some misunderstanding, Luffy said. Usopp chose the life of a pirate, Spectral said, but he disobeys our captain's decision. makes our captain break a promise, and steals the devil fruit from us after he departed. This is not some pirates game, Nami said. We chose to be pirates to accomplish our dream. Until he apologizes for what he has done, he can't step foot on that ship. Zoro said. The Straw Hats agreed on that. Next day, Luffy and his crew is ready to depart with their crew member, Franky. But suddenly they were approached by Garp's battleship. Luffy raised an eyebrow, wanting to know that why his grandpa is throwing cannonballs at his new ship even though he just became the 5th Emperor. Yo, shitty geezer. What are you doing? Luffy asks. You chose the life of being a pirate, and I'm a marine, which means I'm hereby to send you to a watery grave, Garp said. Hey, we need to get out here, Luffy said. Grandpa is back and he is throwing cannonballs at our new ship. Straw Hat, what about the other crew member? Franky asks. We went over this back at Galley-La, Luffy said. We said specifically that he was not allowed to step foot on this ship until he apologizes. But for right now, help me with these cannonballs. Suddenly the former sniper came back, yelling at them, trying to get their attention. Hey guys. Your warrior is back. I have some news to tell you all, Usopp yelled out, trying to get the crew attention. But they ignored them. This was just some big misunderstanding. Please just turn the ship around. Usopp, you're just making yourself worse at this situation, Luffy thought. We would like you to have you back if just apologize, Kaya thought. You guys can have a member who isn't a sniper, right? Usopp said, I know I stolen a devil fruit from you guys, but it was an accident. But the crew continues to ignore him. Usopp couldn't believe that they left him there as tears came out of his eyes. I see, so this it. You guys don't need me after all, he muttered and clenched his fist in frustration. In that case, he took a deep breath and, I'm sorry guys. Please forgive me for my stubbornness. I'm ashamed that I stole and eat the devil fruit from you, as I only thought about myself but not everyone. Please forgive. Meanwhile, back at the Sunny, everyone heard Usopp's apology and then smiled. That idiot, Zoro said as he smirked. Finally, Spectral looked back. Protect the Sunny as I get him back here. Luffy deactivated his armament and went behind them and stretched his hand towards Usopp. Meanwhile, Usopp was crying to being left behind, but suddenly something grabbed his long nose, surprising him when he was pulled towards the Sunny. Guys, Usopp said as he landed back on the ship, only for Kaya to punch in the face as he sends him to the main deck. OWWW, the sniper screamed in pain. You idiot. That's for making us worry, Kaya said out loud, causing the sniper to see stars while laughing. That was well deserved, Spectral said as he was patting Usopp on head while Franky had spoken. Supper now, let's escape from your grandfather. Alright then, get ready, Luffy said as he turned to Garp's battleship. Yo, shitty old geezer. What do you want, Luffy? Garp asks. If it's a death, then I can give you death. As long as I'm around the world, I'm still causing havoc, Luffy said. Until we meet again, shitty Gramps. Luffy, I've got more cannonballs to throw at you, Garp said. It was great seeing you again, shitty Gramps. Until next time, I'm still creating havoc around the world, Luffy said as he gives Franky the sign to start the coup to burst as they blasted off to the air, causing the Marine's eyes to widen. My grandson's crew is something. Come on, let's return back to the base, Garp said as they returned back to Navy HQ. Grand Line, Kid's POV. So, there is now a 5th Emperor of the Sea. We should go pay him a visit, Kid said. They say he is the superhuman of paradise. Kid, how sure this is exactly go as you speak? Killer said. Well, today, he will no longer be the superhuman, and I'll obtain his title as the 5th Emperor, Kid said suddenly. The sea crows and birds fleeing from an island where Kid and his crew were. I have a feeling that Straw Hat is here. We should go check it out. Luffy's POV. Luffy and his crew were beating up some Marines who landed on the island. Know your places. Losers, Luffy said. It's been a week since we haven't been in battle after the result of Enies Lobby, he said as his crew finishing up the remainings of the Marines. That will piss off the Navy. But we managed to get Robin back, Spectral said, and we got ourselves a new crew member. You, Captain? Franky said. A pirate ship just wanted on the other side of the island. They know that they are here. Really? Whoever they are, must be a mighty challenger, Luffy said. Alright. Let's go fight these pirates. They probably heard that I became the 5th Emperor and want to claim my title. Suddenly they hear explosions on the other side of the island. Seems like they just got on the island. Let's show them what we are made of. Killer's POV. You heard what the captain said. Mess them up, Killer said as he and other crew members were charging at the Straw Hats, and Zoro smirked. Allow me. I sure hate to see you. Hates guy on his feet, Zoro said as he was running towards Killer, and then laughed at his crew. You just want to fight him, Nami said. Zoro and Killer were running towards each other, and then Killer took out his claws Roranoa. Killer yelled out, and then charged at Zoro. "What up, masked man?" Zoro said as he pulled out his 3 swords. "Anajirai." Zoro called out as slashes his swords at Killer, causing his have a slash cut on his chest and making him bleed, and then sends Killer flying, and then Zoro laughed. Meanwhile Killer was crashing at Kid's ship. Kid POV. "Killer!" Kid said as he was rushing over to Killer. "Damn it. Straw Hats," he then said as metal was started swarming around his. Kid was creating a new weapon to shoot down the Straw Hats, and their ship get wiped out. As he metal ray gun was about to go off. Luffy POV. Luffy was looking into the future to see Kid destroying this island and wrecking their new ship. "Hey, get ready," Luffy said as he calling out to his crew members, "there will be some damage here." "My guess he saw a bad future." Spectral said, "Come on. Let's do as we were told to do." Luffy then was running towards the Kid's pirate ship. Kid's ray gun was about to go off when suddenly, Luffy jumped in, causing Kid and his crew members to widen their eyes. "One, Straw Hat!" Kid yelled out loud. "River Divine!" Luffy called out as he sends a slash towards Kid's ray gun, causing it to explode and giving Kid a slash cut on the chest, causing his to scream in pain. Luffy puts his sword back in scabbard and then walked towards Kid's pirate ship with his crew members, and then Kid stood up and his crew helped out Killer get up. "2. Why are you here?" Luffy asked. "So I can claim your title," Kid replied. "Persistent, aren't you?" Luffy said. "You won't be talking once I beat you." Kid said. "Mess them up," Killer said as he and his other crew members were charging at the Straw Hats. "Destroy them," Zoro said as he and his other crew members were charging at the Kid Pirates. Few hours later, the Kid Pirates were defeated by the Straw Hats after they massive clash against them. They were defeated. They were no match for an Emperor's crew. Soon enough, the Straw Hats left the island after their massive fight. They went to an island to restock their supplies. Luffy went to the shore to find someone drowning in the ocean and instantly went to Chopper and Kaya to treat this guy who looked like an Oni. Soon after, the Oni wakes up and was next to Luffy. "Who are you?" the boy asks while getting serious. "Calm down, we are not going to hurt you. We just saved you from drowning at the shore," Luffy said. "Well, you did. Thanks for that," the boy said, but the boy didn't realize he didn't have his scarf around his neck and started to panic. "Whoa, why are you panicking?" Luffy asks. "Because of my appearance," the boy said. "Calm down, your scarf is right there," Luffy said as he pointing to the boy's scarf, causing him to feel relieved. "Anyways, why are so scared about your appearance?" "I'm an Oni. People are scared of my appearance," the boy said. "Are you going to make fun of me, Oswell?" "Dude, are you ashamed of your appearance?" Luffy asked. "And no," the boy answered. "Then people should accept the way you are," Luffy said, causing him to tear up a bit. "Got a name?" "It's Isaac," the boy said. "Isaac, huh? I think you will fit in my crew," Luffy said. "Your crew?" Isaac said. "Luffy, are you serious?" Nami asks. "I'll buy you golden bracelet, or a necklace," Luffy said, causing Nami's eye to be filled with berries. "Isaac, welcome aboard," Nami said. Meanwhile the other's sweat dropped. "Come on, Isaac. We will teach you Haki and anything you need to know," Luffy said, causing Isaac to smile at him. "Alright then, let me grab my scarf and get out of here," Isaac said. Thriller bark. Luffy POV. "What kind of place is this? How the hell did we end up in this?" Luffy asked as he walking down an alleyway. He knew this place of where a warlord lives, which he can tell it's not going to easy, but the weakness was salt, and so his crew was using salt to cancel the mad creation. "Probably because we opened that," Zoro said. "I thought it was going to have food and drinks." Luffy. "Quit being a gluttony for once," Vivi said. "We can food and drinks once we are done." "Fair enough," Luffy said. "Let's get out of this alleyway. It stinks down here." "Yo-ho-ho." Brook laughed. "Thank you for helping and looking for my shadow," he said as he and the crew gets out of the alleyway. "It's not a problem," Luffy said. "You look perfect for a musician role." "Luffy," Nami said, "first an Oni and now a skeleton? I'll buy you anything you want," Luffy said as he punches a zombie in the face. "Deal," Nami said. Greedy Zoro mumbled as he cutting down a zombie. Sadly for him, Nami heard his words and punching him in the head, resulting a bump growing on his dead. "Zoro, you should have saw that coming," Spectral said. "Yeah, I know," Zoro said. "Let's take care of this. It's already getting annoying. I have a feeling that this warlord is Moria, which means he is going to be a pain in the ass," Luffy said. "Get them," a zombie said. "Ah, great. Now we have to deal with more of Moria's goons," Luffy said, "although Moria is not on my level, especially if he steals shadows." "Well, best if we hurry this up," Robin said as they started attacking all of the zombies and making the shadows leave the zombie's body. "Let's speed this up," and finds Brook's shadow, Kick Moria's ass and leave this place, Luffy said. Even though I just joined, I'm already enjoying this, Isaac said, but seriously, this place is horrible, he said as he punches another zombie in the face. I agree with you on the last part, Vivi said. Your nose looks stiffened. This smell makes it harder for me to breathe, Isaac said, even if I'm an Oni. We are getting picked off one by one. What the hell is this? One of the zombies said. We are no match for these guys. Looks like the zombies are backing away, Spectral said. But some are still not giving up. What a drag. Luffy said as he punching multiple zombies when suddenly they heard screams of Nami, Kaya and Vivi. What happened? Somebody touched me, the three girls said. Luffy then used his observation haki, detected an invisible pervert, and then kicking him away with armament haki, making the pervert crashing into multiple trees. What the hell? How could you hurt me? The pervert, but then when he saw Luffy and then he was sweating. So, time for you get dropped off in the Grand Line, Luffy said as he cracking his knuckles. I will be dealing with him myself, Sanji said as he was spinning leg before it caught on fire. Of course, we will leave to you, everyone thought. And then Sanji started running after the pervert, meanwhile the others beating up the zombies. Sanji, meets us at the courtyard once you're done, Luffy said. Roger, Sanji said as he was still running after the pervert. Zoro POV, what should we do now? Zoro asks. We have been for like 40 minutes, and we got into so much trouble. The only thing we can do is wait for Moria, Luffy said. I can tell he is pissed, since we are beating up his goons. They soon hearing the pervert screaming, and they saw Sanji beating up the pervert, and they sweat dropped. I guess Sanji is taking care of that problem, Spectral said. He is the only pervert we can tolerate, Vivi said as they were beating up some zombies, and some of the Straw Hats agreed. Yo-ho-ho. Brooke laughed. What a fun crew. At least we got some fighters, Luffy said. I'm willing to have fun again, he said as he pulled out his sword. After our battle with Kid, I was fully satisfied. Yo-ho-ho. Brooke laughed again. We are not leaving without a fight, aren't we? Looks like we aren't, Robin said as he crossing her arms. Nami took out her staff. Spectral pulled out his trident. Zoro and Brooke inspected their swords. Franky was adjusting him laser beam with a red gleam in his eye. Usopp was reloading his little flintlock pistol. Kaya's arm started forming into snow. And Vivi's arm turned into his tiger hand, and Chopper turned into his heavy point, and then Isaac coated his fist in armament haki. Get them. We must deliver them to Morius, and the pervert said, and all of the zombies started going after the Emperor's crew. Destroy them, Luffy said as he and his crew members started charging at the zombies. King's Heaven Art, Lost Paradise. Luffy slices each zombie as he puts his sword back in his scabbard, causing a huge crack on the ground, and then shadows left the zombie's body, and Luffy then smirked. Dragon Twister. Zoro spins around the zombies who were surrounded and then causing them to swing around in the air, causing the zombie's shadow to leave their dead body. Double Clutch. Multiple arms started appearing in the zombie's bones, and then the bones starting to break apart, and then Robin uncrosses her arms, and then shadows left the zombie's body. Thunderbolt Tempo. Nami summons a thundercloud in the air on the zombies, and then once she set her staff on the ground, lightning started going directly at the zombies, and then some shadows left the zombie's body. Howling Winter. Kaya swung his arms around and then make a cross, and then cold air started surrounding the zombies, and then snow starting to form on the ground, freezing the zombies in place, and the ice spikes started stabbing the zombies, and then the shadows left their bodies. Unstoppable Claws. Vivi extends his tiger arm and then punching the zombies very fast, and then he grabs the zombies and slams them into the ground with an addition on armament haki. Mutan. Sanji kicking away the zombies as his legs were on fire. Acid Struck. Spectral swings the air with his trident, creating a slash which could cut the zombies and melt the ground with poison, and then making the zombies on fire, and then the shadows disappear from the zombies. Weapon Left. Franky aims his arms at the zombies and shoots a laser beam at the zombies, creating an explosion impact on the zombies. Red Hole. Isaac punched the air, creating a shockwave in between the zombies, making them not shadows leave their bodies, and there were multiple cracks in the ground. A/N. Isaac did not eat a devil fruit. He has his own powers with his fists because he is a combatant/martial artist like Spectral. He trained to get himself armament haki before heading to Thriller Bark, and his starting bounty is $80 million. 3 Pace Humnotch/. Brook then puts his sword back in scabbard cane, and then Zombie's body started to be splitting into twos, and then shadows disappeared. As Luffy and his crew were finishing up all of the zombies, Luffy then stopped as he looked around him to see Gecko Moria standing there in front of him. Straw Hat. he said, you will pay for this. You're destroying my subordinates. I guess we are not leaving after all, Luffy said. Let's wrap this up super easy. Luffy unleashed his conqueror's haki, making the zombies sweat, and Moria beginning to sweat. Meanwhile, the pervert was laying on the ground unconscious after getting beat up by Sanji. I don't care if you are emperor or not, Moria said. I will seek revenge for destroying my crew. Shadow Asgard. Moria summons all of the shadows into his body, making him turn into a giant. The crew was in shock, but they didn't let their guard down. As soon Moria was done summoning the shadows in his body, they started attacking. Dark Chamber. Moria starting out shooting several black stones from the shadows above and below, nearly hitting the crew, but they dodged and had to split up, and Luffy took a deep breath. We have the ropes, Luffy said. He may be a big and gives us an easy shot, but he is strong, as he coated his arm in armament haki, and then punching Moria in the face, causing him to fell over a bit. Ouch, that hurt, Moria said as rubbing his face. I'll make sure to take all of your guys' heads. Gear 3rd. Bone balloon. Luffy blows into his arm, enlarging his arm and then coating in armament haki. Giant rifle. Luffy punches Moria with his giant fist in the stomach, causing him to spit out all of the shadows from his mouth. He tried to cover his mouth, but Luffy keep on punching his, making him release the shadows and making him unturn Moria into a giant. And then Moria was easily defeated, and then all of shadows started going up into the air, and Brooks got his shadow back. Let's go, Straw Hats, Luffy said. Moria is now defeated, and we have no reason to stay here much longer. Now, let's set sail for Sabaody, and then left Thriller Bark and then Brook on their crew now. A/N. Luffy is smart whenever it's come to fighting or the truth of his family. A/N. Luffy and Katakuri are friends along with Smoothie, Cracker and Amanda. A/N. Luffy does anything out of loyalty of his crew, his friends and his family. Summary. The worst generation appears, a death of a celestial dragon. Luffy and his crew figures out the truth of God Valley, an admiral arrives. Sabaody Archipelago. Luffy POV. Looks like we are here. Now then, listen up, Luffy started. We may encounter the celestial dragons here, so we must be careful here. They are the descendants of the world government. Great. Just what we needed, Spectral said. They are the most despicable creatures in the world, Luffy said. They don't have any respect for anyone. The Navy or any world government worship them as gods by following and protecting them and letting them whatever they want. They can kill you and kidnap anyone and slay them. If you try to stop them, then the Navy will arrest you and send you to impel down or kill you. That's horrible, Kaya said in disgust. That's how it is, Vivi said. That's why my family didn't want to ascend, because we looked badly because of it. Don't interfere unless they provoked you, Luffy said. You're strong. Don't let them walk all over you. Kami and Hachi, for your own protection, you must stay with Rayleigh and Shaki until we get back. Alright, Luffy-san, Hachi said. It's best that you're not involved with this, because they can send an admiral here, plus you are under my protection, Luffy said, so I advise to be safe at all costs. Thanks for looking out for us, Luffy-san, Hachi said. Just be careful with an admiral. I know a level of an admiral, Luffy said. I had to dealt with punk hazard scientists. I won't let those morons touch our crew, especially the girls, otherwise Pervy Cook will go insane on us. That's right, Sanji said. The rest crew started to laugh silently as he didn't realize what Luffy called him. Hey, Sanji said as the entire crew started laughing at him. Don't call me that, you lazy captain. Then what's with the epithet? Spectral said while making fun of Sanji again. Sanji just sweat dropped at that. Alright, time for us to go, Luffy said. Zoro, please don't get lost like always. Seriously, Spectral said. Hey, Zoro said, I mean it. You, Spectral and Robin are the 3 top commanders, the rest of them are top officers. Y'all are part of an emperor's crew and we have stick together, especially here, Luffy said, and then all of his crew nodded and smiled at him, and they all went together. After arriving to the small town, Luffy took a minute to breathe for a minute as he saw one of those morons coming with his slaves, and then he clenched his arm. Bad timing, he said under his breath. Quick, kneel down, and don't do anything unless I tell you, or we are being provoked. How do we know once we are provoked? Isaac asked as he was kneeling down. Just remember those slavers in your head, Luffy answered. As the moron was arriving, Luffy saw as all the civilians were shivering in fear and also feeling disgusted, started to kneel to the celestial moron. After a few minutes, the celestial moron approached the crew, which annoyed Luffy as he stops close to Vivi. You there? I will take you with me, he said. Luffy's nearly twitched as he's secretly holding onto his sword. I want you to become my new wife. Luffy gives his crew the signal, and then they stood up to look at the Celestine dragon with a serious look on his face. You really want to do this? Luffy said. I suggest you run away before I kill you with my own hands, he said as he unleashing his conqueror's haki. No way, he is here? A pink-haired woman said. That's the 5th Emperor. A Scipion man said. That's Straw Hat Luffy, superhuman of paradise. A Mafia man said. Knowing Straw Hat, the celestial dragon is about to meet his death. A magician man said. This is about to go down. A long-arm man said. So, this is Straw Hat, yeah? I heard he defeated Kid. A man with a hat said. The celestial dragon just pissed him off. A muscular man said. St. Charlos a knight said. I think we should leave. That's Straw Hat Luffy. He is the superhuman or paradise, and the 5th Emperor of the sea. I don't care, the idiot said. I want her, and you will give her to me, or I will kill and slave all of your crew members. He said that, and that just made Luffy angrier. Nobody threatens his crew, especially those morons. With that, Luffy punched him with armament haki with all of his strength in the face. The air bubble that was around the celestial dragon was destroyed instantly, and then he was sent flying, crashing into multiple buildings and making the celestial dragon unconscious. Seems like he is still alive. Looks like we need more damage, Luffy said as Zoro grabbed his body and then sliced his head off before the knights could attack. Kaya disarmed them by grabbing the knight's sword by using an iceberg and then freezing the knights. After the death of the celestial moron, everyone cheered well. Looks like everyone is happy. 5th Emperor, a civilian said, and then Luffy turned around to look at the civilian. We appreciate about what you have done, but what about the Admiral? I was planning on throwing this into the sea, but I think Sea Kings think that this is the most disgusting food that they ever tasted, Luffy said, and then all of the civilians and pirates started laughing. Listen, me and my crew will take of the Navy. I will take care of the Admiral myself. Sorry about putting you into this mess and had to see that fight go down. No worries, the pink-haired girl said as he was eating a chicken drumstick. I would be pissed off if you were normal rookie, but since you are the superhuman of the Grand Line and have 1 billion berries and the 5th Emperor, the celestial moron had it coming. Let me take off those necklaces for you guys, Luffy said as he took off the necklaces off of the slaves. Thank you, Straw Hat. A pirate said. We will help you in return someday. Thank you for freeing us, a young girl said. He killed my husband and then took me away. Here, go somewhere safe and call this number, Luffy said when they answer. Tell them everything about what happened. The world is depending for our answer. Thank you, she said. You are free. If you don't want to be here, then follow her, Luffy said. Straw Hat, Kid said as he was walking up to Luffy. Yo, Kid! How have you been? Luffy said casually. Do you want to go for round 2? Yeah, no thank you, Kid answered. Not if there is an admiral on the way. I heard you got beaten by Straw Hat, yeah? A man with a hat said. Shut up, Trafalgar. Kid said. I would like to see you fight him. Guys, knock it off, an old man said. He is an emperor, remember? Rayleigh, Luffy said. It's the Dark King Rayleigh. The pink-haired girl said. Calm down, Bonnie. I'm not here to harm you, Rayleigh said. I'm just looking for Straw Hat. What is it? Luffy asks. Come with me. I'll let you meet Shaki, Rayleigh said, and Luffy nodded, and they followed him to a bar which they met Shaki. I heard that the superhuman was around here, Shaki said. What do I owe the pleasure? All I need is drink for right now, but after this I have to go take care of the Navy, Luffy said with a bored and lazy expression. And then Rayleigh gives him a drink. So, I've heard that you're the son of Dragon, Shaki said, and then Luffy's eyes widen before he sets down his sake. I may be the son of Dragon, but everyone does not know my true name, Luffy said, which causing Rayleigh and Shaki's eye widen in confusion. Your real name is not Monkey D, Luffy? Rayleigh asked, and then Luffy just sighed and took another sip of his sake before answering Rayleigh's question and took a second to answer. No, it's not. My real is Rocksteady, Luffy, grandson of Rocksteady, XEBEC and son of Rocksteady. Dragon, Luffy answered, causing Rayleigh, Shaki, Kami and Hachi's eyes widen. I would prefer to be called Monkey D, Luffy in general, but in secret. My true name is Rocksteady, Luffy. So, that's make you the grandson of Monkey D, Garp? Shaki asks. Yeah, the old geezer who defeated Grandpa Rocks alongside with Gold. Roger, early 40s years ago, Luffy answered with a sigh and then took another sip of his sake. You have full of surprises, Luffy, Shaki said, but how did you know that Grandpa Rocks was defeated? You look in your mid-20s. I'm 18. But I get that a lot, Luffy said. Anyways, I read a book about how it talks about the rock pirates, Reading is not my stronghold. I have a question about that. Robin started. Where did the fight between the Navy, Roger Pirates, and Rock's Pirate take place? It was on an island called God Valley. It was in the West Blue, Rayleigh said. West Blue? You mean the battle took place in the Blue Seas? Nami asked. Yeah, it was unaffiliated sea with the world government, Shaki said. So, what basically happened to God Valley? Robin asked. 38 years ago, God Valley became the site of the triennial native hunting competition, where the local population and some slaves were hunted for the sport by the world nobles, Rayleigh answered. I've read about God Valley having a ruler/king on the island, Luffy said, but he was killed. That's right. The king's name is unknown, but someone who goes by the name of Figureland Garling, current supreme commander of the God's Knights in the world government, was responsible of slaying the king, making him the champion of God Valley, Rayleigh said. During the God Valley incident, Garp allied with Roger and the Roger Pirates in order to defeat the Rock's Pirate, which was succeed in the process. Following this monumental battle, the island mysterious vanished without a trace, no longer showing up on the world's map. But why did Garp ally with Roger? It doesn't make sense, Robin said. Garp would always go after Roger during his prime days. It was to protect the slaves and the celestial dragons, Shaki said, making the crew eyes widen. Luffy knows that Garp hates the celestial dragons as much as he does. That does not sound like that old geezer. Luffy said he hates the celestial dragons as much as I do. Protecting the slaves makes sense to him, Rayleigh said, but the celestial dragons are a different story that we don't know. Anyways, I want to know what had happened to Gold. Roger, did the Navy actually capture him and his crew? Sanji asked. Rayleigh took a minute before answering the question, and Luffy took enough sip of his sake and then ate a piece of meat. We weren't exactly captured, Rayleigh answered, making the crew eyes widen at that answer. Roger turned himself in because he caught a disease which was not able to be cured. Rayleigh said the Navy covered it up by saying that they captured Roger. Maybe because they don't to get humiliated, Luffy said. Roger didn't seem too easy to get captured. If it would say Roger turned himself, then the world would laugh at the Navy, Shaki said. Makes sense, Luffy said. Whenever I defeated Crocodile, that Commodore Smoker had took all of the credit of Alabasta but refused to get promoted. So, what's your next plan, Luffy? Shaki asked, and Luffy sighed. I have no clue, since I have to deal with an admiral later, which he might be on his way right now as we speak, Luffy said. Few minutes later, there was explosion going off. Meanwhile, the Straw Hats were near Grove 13. Ah, great, he is here, Luffy said. I'll take care of the Light Admiral. You guys take care of the pacifistas. He then ran towards the Light Admiral, blocking his attack. Oh, Straw Hat, Luffy, Kizaru said. What do I owe the pleasure after seeing you 8 years ago? Borsalino, you know this going to be really ugly because I'm the youngest emperors out there now, Luffy said as he punches him in the stomach, sending him flying and spitting out blood. Still reckless as ever, aren't we? Kizaru said. You really have changed much. I heard that you beat up Kazan even though you snapped his leg. He should have saw it coming, Luffy said. Don't underestimate me too much. You have been relying on your Pika Pika no Mi fruit, government dog. Luffy then saw Kizaru wasn't too happy about the insult. Guess I have to eliminate you, reckless boy, Kizaru said angrily. Now this is a real problem. Your crew killed a celestial dragon. Luffy then smirked, pulled out his sword, and then slashes the Light Admiral away like a fly, making him cough up blood and making him crash into multiple buildings. Luffy then went into his gear. Fourth. Sorry, but not serious enough, Luffy said. Guess the Fleet Admiral will need new admirals soon, he said as he was making fun of the admiral in front of him. Scary, Kizaru mocked Luffy as he disappeared in light and went to kick Luffy, but he blocks it and then punches the admiral in the guts and punches him in the face, making him cough up more blood. This was not the same as 8 years ago. Did you expect a normal rookie? Luffy said. I'm an emperor, you moron. But then Kuma appears right in front of Luffy, and then Luffy's eye widen. Kuma? What the hell are you doing here? Luffy asked. I'm in the middle of a fight. Forgive me, Straw Hat, Kuma answered, and he teleports out of Luffy's way and starts attacking his crew. What the hell was he doing there? His eyes widened with anger as he hit Franky with his hand. Kuma! Luffy yelled out as he was unleashing his Conqueror's HAKI, making the Marines pass out. But before he could go help out, Kizaru attacks again. But Luffy, who was no longer playing with his food, grabbed Kizaru's hand and legs, much to his surprise, and break it. He screamed in pain as he falls down, but the next thing he saw as Kuma was attacking Chopper and Usopp, both of them disappeared in an instant. Kuma. What are you doing? Luffy activates his gear second and went as fast speed only for a fat man to block his path. Oh no you don't! He spoke. Out of my way, fat ass! Luffy yelled as he kicked him away with armament HAKI, making him crash into a grove tree of where Kizaru was, only to give Kuma enough time to make Spectral, Isaac and Kaya disappear. Damn you! Luffy went as fast as he could, but Kizaru and the fat ass catch up with his speed and block his way again. Not so fast, Straw Hat! The fat ass said, You're under arrest. Luffy unleashing his Conqueror's HAKI, making the man fall to his knees as he blocked a kick from Kizaru, then grabbed his leg and snapped it in half, making him scream a second time and make him crash into the fat ass. Much to his horror, Kuma, make Vivi, Zoro and Sanji disappeared while getting distracted again. He was then close to Robin and Nami. Damn it! Luffy said as went there but wasn't fast enough to save them. Nami disappeared first and then later, Robin disappeared. Hey Kuma, what do you think you are doing? Luffy said, slightly pissed, but then Kuma teleports in front of Luffy, making his eyes widen. Forgive me, 5th Emperor Straw Hat. Kuma said, Y'all are not ready yet for the new world, he said as he hits him with his hand, making him disappeared. Thanks for watching this video. You really enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow Radistorm for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.